I made a point of telling President Trump that the fact that we have different ideological positions does not prevent two heads of state from handling the relationship between the states with a lot of respect. I made a point of telling him what I thought and handed it over in writing. I handed it over in writing so that people do not forget. I told him that it was unacceptable to punish a Supreme Court minister because of the vote that took place in the January 8th process in the coup. I made a point to tell him that the information that the United States had a trade deficit with Brazil was unfounded. We proved that there was a surplus of 410 billion over 15 years.
As I thought, this issue of respect is something that is very valuable. I also learned that a human being only respects those who respect themselves. If you don't respect yourself, no one will respect you. No one likes a bootlicker. Nobody likes a sycophant, a lackey, that bootlicker. But we have to be who we truly are. I think that's what happened between me and President Trump. I hope this chemistry bears fruit for the Brazilian people and the American people. And that it can order. I haven't told him yet, but any day now I'll tell him, that we can solve this Russia and Ukraine war, because I think the strike is at its point of the war is at its point of maturity, because it's already been 3 years of war.
We have already been at war for 3 years. Putin already knows what he wants. The elected ones already know what they want. Each one already knows what they will achieve.
What is missing is putting this on the negotiation table. And I think we are reaching the point of ending this world war. And there is no need for more war. What makes me a bit sad is that last year, $2.7 trillion were spent on weapons, and not 10% of that was spent to end world hunger. What makes me sad is that you end the massacre in Israel, but you don't recover the lives of more than 70,000 women and children who died innocently due to the irresponsibility of a political leader in Israel. Not the people of Israel, but a political leader. So these things are what make me very truthful when I talk to people. I like to say the things I feel to people so they can fully know me. I don't have a half face.
This beautiful face you see is unique.
Thank you for the question. Look, Brazil does not have a preference for countries. We want to maintain relations with all countries in the world. We do not accept a new Cold War, which for 50 years cost humanity lives, between the United States and Russia. What we really want is for there to be no war between the United States and China, because we want to maintain a beautiful relationship with the United States and a beautiful relationship with China. It is not because of the tariffs that our trade with China increased. Our trade with China was already growing, and today China is Brazil's largest trading partner, and I hope it grows more. Because everything the Chinese need to buy, Brazil has to sell, and I hope it is the same with other countries. I want the Brazilian economy and the health of my country not to depend on a single country. I want us to depend on all the countries in the world, a little from each one. So we don't have a preference. Obviously, I think the growth of China is extremely important, just as I would like it to be the growth of Brazil. If we manage to accomplish everything we are planning to do, who knows, in 10, 15, or 20 years, it will be Brazil that is, on the front line in negotiations with many countries. I work for this, believe in it, and want to continue having a great relationship with China, want to have a great relationship with the United States, want to have a great relationship with the European Union, because it's important to remember that after 22 years, we are going this December to make the European Union and Mercosur agreement, which was something that had been stuck for a long time, so we decided to unlock it. during Brazil's presidency of Mercosur, we are going to make this agreement. And we are also making agreements with Indonesia, with Mercosur, with Malaysia, with Mercosur, with ASEAN, with Mercosur. In other words, our business is doing business. I was a little sad because I didn't see anyone with a gift package in hand. I said, this means that no one even remembers my birthday today. But what is important is this. I am turning 80 years old at the best moment of my life.
I have never felt so alive and with such a desire to live, and that's why I tell everyone that I hope to live until I am 120 years old.
I brought up the issue of Venezuela to him, saying that from the newspaper reports, I say things are getting worse. And I told him it was extremely important.
Take into account the experience that Brazil has as the largest country in South America, as the most economically important country, which has as a neighbor, almost all of South America, to consider the need, whatever Brazil needs, to help in the relationship with Venezuela. I even told him about the group of friends we created in 2003. I had only been in office for 15 days into my term, when I was in Quito for the inauguration of the president, of Ecuador, and Chavez was having a problem with the United States. I proposed the creation of a group of friends. We created a group of friends and managed to ensure that there was a peaceful referendum, in Venezuela.
I told him that, we are available to help, and I wanted him to consider that we are the zone of peace.
I even told him I was a constituent when I voted for the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, in Brazil. It's not something I invented. It's not just talk. It's a vote I cast in the Brazilian constitution that is there. Possibly it is the only country in the world that has in its constitution, the non-production of nuclear weapons, atomic weapons.
So, that was made very clear. If Brazil's help is needed, we are available.
We are available to negotiate because we want to keep South America as a zone of peace. We do not want to bring conflict from another region to our continent. So I want to tell you that Malaysia will have Brazil's support to become a full member of BRICS. Okay? And I can tell you that I take from Malaysia, the most positive impression possible. First, because of the friendliness of the people. Everywhere I go, it feels like I know everyone. There's always someone laughing, there's always someone kind. In other words, it's a bit like the Brazilian people, So I leave with the best impression of Malaysia. I leave with a wonderful impression of Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim.